Hey guys, welcome back to Top 5 Fit. Today we're going to focus on some exercises that help develop the trapezius muscles. That's up here, the big thick hoods. When you look over at the Hulk or you look at any comic book characters, you will see basically the tissue that goes from the base of the neck out to the shoulders. The trapezius is responsible for basically shoulder stabilization as well as shoulder elevation. So very good supportive musculature when you're doing back work, any type of rowing, pulling. Those muscles usually help support the position of the shoulders. So let's go ahead and start off with some rear barbell shrugs. What we've got over here, barbell on the rack. What you're going to want to do is step up to the barbell, kind of back up to it. Hands should be a little wider than shoulder width apart. If they're too narrow, it can put a little bit of uncomfortable pressure on the shoulders. So go ahead and go a little bit wider than you normally would. Grab, unload, keep the back nice and straight. And then just elevate the shoulders up, nice big squeeze at the top, lower it right back down as far as the shoulders will go. One thing you want to make sure of when you're actually doing the rear barbell shrug, make sure you're using the shoulders and not your legs. A lot of times you'll see people kind of trying to bounce the weight up and not actually using the traps, so you'll get some of this going on. That puts you in a position to actually hurt or injure your lower back. It's just not a good movement to perform. So try to make sure you're actually elevating through the shoulders and then lowering as far down as they will allow you to go. The next thing we're going to get into is a barbell shrug only in the front. Hand positioning should be about the same. You will see people in gym every now and then with thumbs in front, a false grip, if you will. I don't recommend that. Ultimately, you can load up a lot of weight with this exercise, and I like to have the thumb wrapped for security. Obviously, there's no real danger of the bar landing on your toes or anything like that, but once you start climbing in weight, I'd like to have as much control over the weight as possible. You're still gripping the bar a little wider than shoulder width apart. Step up, unload, and again, you're making sure that your back is straight. A lot of times I'll see people actually bending forward with the shrug here. That puts a lot of undue stress on the low back. So ultimately, make sure that back is straight. And again, we're pulling up through the shoulders and right back down as far as we can go. You want to work that complete range of motion as much as you can. All of the movement that the traps will allow. Next, we're going to get into a barbell upright row. Now, I like to drop the weight on these just a little bit because they can put your shoulders in kind of a vulnerable position. And the whole point of training and conditioning is not to injure yourself. So a bit of humility when it comes to how much weight is actually being moved. So we'll go ahead and drop this back about 20 pounds on each side in order to perform the movement correctly. This exercise has taken a bad rap over the years. It's very easy to cheat when doing the movement. You can lean forward, you can arch your back, you can throw it. You can do a lot of things that ultimately take the load off of the traps. Sometimes people have a tendency to get caught up in the weight room banter and, I guess, chit chat and whatever else goes along with that, and basically all form kind of goes out the window. For the upright row barbell, you're going to want to make sure that you're about shoulder width apart, and again, thumbs wrapped, so not a false grip on this. The idea, unrack, keeping the back straight, and you want to basically drag the bar right across your upper body up to your chin and lower back down nice and slow. Sometimes I'll actually take the thumbs and go on top here. That's just a comfort thing. But basically, I still want to make sure I have control of that bar so I can rewrap those thumbs whenever I want. Up to the chin and right back down. When I talked about bad form and bad habits, this is something you want to try to avoid. Again, try not to throw that bar up to the chin. This is a very deliberate lift, keeping the back straight, and you want to pull that right up, dragging right up and down the body. Next, we'll take a look at dumbbell shrugs. Got a couple of 30s here. Same rules apply as far as the straight bar shrugs are concerned. We're elevating the shoulders up as high as we can and then lowering them to the lowest point. The only difference is we get to hold the dumbbells to our sides instead of in front of us because, well, the dumbbells are separate and they're not a straight bar. So idea is shoulders up as high as we can get, lower down. Again, you want to make sure that you're not using your lower body to assist with the lift at all. This is not a throwing activity. You're deliberately raising the shoulders and lowering the shoulders, enjoying that negative on the way down because that's where our strength is built. Sometimes you'll see people have a tendency to roll the shoulders back. There's nothing wrong with doing this unless there's something wrong with your shoulders. This does tend to put a little bit of a grind in the shoulder capsules, so if you're already dealing with shoulder irritation, you might just want to stay straight up and straight down. Next, we'll take a look at another version of the upright row. We'll go ahead and use a band for this instead of actual free weights. Find a low point to anchor your band. I like to use a slip knot there. Any bar will do. I have these bamboos in my place because they seem to last forever. Bamboo through the band, grip, and again, you're going to want to make sure your grip is about shoulder width apart. Because you have a slight angle with the band, I like to lean back just a hair because ultimately if I stand up straight, the band will put undue stress on the shoulders and I'll have that angle pulling me forward here. So to compensate for the angle of attachment of the band, I like to lean back just a little bit. The movement is still the same. I still like a nice grip on the bar, thumbs wrapped. Occasionally I will bring the thumbs over top, but for safety's sake, wrap those thumbs. And again, the movement is up to the chin and right back down. When you're dealing with an anchored band, you won't be dragging the bar across your body so much because it is slightly in front of you. And again, that is the reason why we lean back just a hair when we're using a band.